I almost forgot. One of the things that I realized with this Ignite Fire Can is it allows me to use my pie iron really easily without really getting it dirty. So what I'm going to do now is put 2 corn dogs in here, and when it's lit, you can keep this bad boy just like that, and it balances on low heat, and you can cook pies or whatever in there. I would just recommend when you're flipping it, flip it away so you don't get any drippage in there, and then put it right back on. What's up, campers? Today we're going to do a walkthrough of the ammo can style Ignik Fire Can. Quick disclaimer, I actually bought the Ignik Fire Can with my own money. One of the reasons being I wanted to give you guys the options to use different propane styles and show you guys the setup that I went with that works with me and is a little more easy on the pocketbook. Now I actually got this Ignik Fire Can in preparation for camping season to do some dispersed camping. A lot of times in Southern California, even when there are wood fire bans, you are allowed to have a propane style fire pit as long as it has a dedicated on-off valve, which this does. As always, you want to check your local fire restrictions before you head out. In Southern California, there have been times when you cannot even use a propane stove or fire pit because it's gotten that bad. But those occasions are very rare, so that's one of the reasons why I got this bad boy. So one of the reasons why I decided to go propane, not just because of the fire restrictions, but this system is super compact. I mean, you have this and a propane tank, and that's basically all you need. And this is probably the size of like 2 bundles of firewood. And I usually used to bring like 4 to 6 bundles, especially if it's cold, especially if we're going multiple day trips. So even when you are allowed to use propane fire pits in Southern California, one of the regulations is they don't want your fire container on the actual ground. So what's cool about this is you can use it just like this because it's not touching the actual ground. But the reason why I went with this one as opposed to some of the other fire cans out there is the feet with this are attached to it and they just fold out super easy and you're ready to go. So even on this wood table, it's completely safe. So once you got your feet open, what you want to do is open the top, pull this off. You don't want to burn it with that on because there's a gasket on there. And inside, you have basically everything you need. You have the hose, which has a built-in regulator that it does come with. And then additionally, I went with one of these butane fireproof lighters to put in here, which fits inside. And I also went with some of these ceramic logs that I got off Amazon. And what this does is dissipates the fire so it looks a little bit more like a natural fire. Without this, there is an H-style tubing in there with a bunch of little holes where the flame comes through. Without the logs, it just kind of looks like a bunch of little tea candles in there, and I like the look of a real fire. We were actually camping one time at a place where we were not allowed to have wood fires, and the ranger came up and was looking at this, and you could definitely tell he was giving it like a once over, twice over because it looks so much like a real fire. But that's if you have the ceramic logs or some type of lava stones. You don't want to put just regular rocks in here because they can explode. Sometimes there is water inside those rocks, and once they heat up, they will definitely boom on you. So once you get this set up, take those 2 out, it's pretty simple from there. So basically now that we have everything out and the ceramic logs in, we're basically ready to go. So let's talk about the propane system. So Ignik does sell their own propane system with a really nice case, but I wanted to save a little money and I wanted you guys to be able to save some money. So that's why I went and just bought everything myself so you can see the setup that I have. This will run off your regular 20-pound propane tank that you use for home barbecues, but I actually went with 2 different styles. Now the first style being an 11-pound steel propane tank that I just got off of Amazon, and I got this case with it as well. Ooh, that's a cool sound. And the case, you just drop it in, and then this serves as a little table that you can have as a side table next to your chairs. It does have a little port here where you can run the hose inside, so you can still zip this up and still be able to have the hose coming out. One of the things I noticed on the Ignik fire cans they had, which was a really cool idea, they have this lining because a lot of times these standard propane tanks have this really sharp edge at the bottom. Now what this stuff is basically stuff that you can put on your car doors so that when you open it, it doesn't bang that edge of your car and flake your paint. So I had some lying around from last time, but I did get it on Amazon, and I basically just cut it up and you can put it on just like this. This actually helps a lot even if you don't have the case, because this edge can be pretty sharp and you don't want it, you know, damaging anything in your car or any of your other gear. Of course, I got some of my stickers that y'all sent me from all the sticker swaps we've been doing on TikTok. So this is 11 pounds and this is my first time using it and I love it. The other propane tank I went with was bigger for extended trips. Same kind of case, a little bit different, but it also has the tabletop. This just slips over. It does have the window as well, and it does have a little pocket on the side here if you need to put your lighter in there or anything, but I just keep mine in the fire can. Now this is a composite propane tank that they usually use on boats. I believe it's 1/3 of the weight, and I really love this thing. This one's 17 pounds, and I've gotten 20+ hours with still propane at the bottom running this fire pit on about medium heat. Quick little disclaimer before we get into this propane tank. I did a lot of research before going with this brand, which is Viking, and they have a really good safety record. Apparently in the past there was an issue with these composite style propane tanks, so definitely buy at your own discretion. Because I live near the beach and I guess these are usually used on boats because they're lighter, I haven't had any problems filling them up. But one of the guys actually did ask his boss because they weren't sure if they were allowed to use these. You can go to their website and download all their safety pamphlets that they have and the certifications that I just keep on my phone. I never had to show anybody because most people are like, okay, yeah, we're used to these. But then again, you definitely want to check, maybe call your local propane refill station before you get one of these and ask them just to make sure so you're not stuck with one of these and have no place to fill it. I've used both of these tanks and they're both basically exactly the same. The only difference is the size and weight. So for demo purposes, I'm just going to use the standard steel one, which most of you probably have something similar in a 20-pound capacity at home. You don't have to buy one. You can also rent them in one of those places where you exchange it to. It's not that big a deal. I'm just really picky about my gear. So according to Ignic, their system will burn through 5 pounds of propane in about 2.5 hours. So I've gotten 17 hours on medium setting with the 17-pound propane tank. So that's about 1 pound an hour on the medium setting, and there was still propane left. So let's get into setting this up. So Ignic does give you this regulator, which is awesome. And I think it's a 4-foot hose. So I'm just going to stick it in this little window, twist it on, make sure it's nice and tight. Propane is off right now. Also want to make sure the regulator is off. Once it's nice and tight, I'm going to come over here. And one of the reasons why I went with the Ignic fire can is because their system does have this quick attach right here. So you don't have to worry about cross threading. You basically just stick it in like that and you're good to go. So now that we're all set up, what I'm going to do is turn on the gas on the propane tank and then turn on the regulator. And once you hear the gas, there is a little hole. You can stick your lighter in here to light the flame instead of going up here because it does go a little bit. So I'm going to turn this on. Once you hear the gas, stick it in. Boom, and there you go. Now this is not even on medium yet. That's about medium right there. It is a little windy, and I've used this in high wind, and it's kept the flame. It hasn't went out. It's actually really nice. And as you can see, because of those ceramic logs, it looks like a regular fire pit. If you want to see it all the way on high, I can give it all the way up for you real quick. It's kind of hard to see at night, but the flame is pretty big. It puts out plenty of heat for the size of what it is. I mean, you can go with one of those bigger round propane tanks. They're going to put out a lot more heat, but then you're also dealing with a lot more space in your car. Again, one of the reasons why I like this is because it's so compact. So you just flip this up. This could be a table for drinks next to you, and you're good to go basically. So aside from the actual fire can, I went aftermarket with everything else as far as propane and even this little guy, save a little money. I'm going to put the links to everything in my setup on my Amazon storefront. I do get a little commission if you all buy from there. Never feel obligated to buy from there. They actually have this at REI as well. So if you're a member, get this from there and get your dividends. You'll be golden. Let me know any questions you have in the comments about this system. And yeah, remember to keep it safe, keep it clean, and keep yourself informed. Like and follow and subscribe for more camp stuff. See you guys in the next video.